This is pretty funny. Should we listen to McCarthy explain what happened, what went wrong in Georgia? In addition to the candidate, here is Sean Hannity and Kevin McCarthy trying to tell Donald Trump it's not your fault. It's really just sort of like the structural thing. This is interesting because they remember the Republican Party was actively saying don't vote by mail.
And don't vote early.
Don't vote early. Don't vote by mail. They were actively saying this during the midterm, like actively doing it. And their whole strategy was everybody's going to show up on election day. And maybe they're starting to think like maybe that's not the best strategy. But here is Kevin McCarthy explaining what went wrong in Georgia.
Your reaction, your answer to the reluctance some Republicans in many states have about voting early and voting by mail. And going into Election Day, down a couple of 100,000 votes, I think is too big a margin for Republicans to always have to make up. Your thoughts?
You're exactly right. When think of this, I'm from California, so it has the worst election law in the country. Same-day voter registration, no ID. They mail every single person a ballot, and they don't clean up their voter rolls, and they let you harvest ballots. But for the last two elections, while all the other Republicans lost, we gained seats in the House. But you know what? We gained seats in California. We even won another seat from a Democrat in California this year. We won 3 seats in California this year where Joe Biden carried it by more than 10 points. You know why? Good candidates, good message and commitment to America, but we educate the voter that you got to get that ballot in. If you wait just to Election Day, it's almost you're running a race where you're starting 30 yards behind. You don't know if you have enough time to catch. The last race we just won, we won by less than 600 votes. It is that close. I'm looking at what Herschel Walker's doing here. Every vote matters. Georgia changed their election law. Florida changed their election law, made it better. So Republicans should trust. You want to bank as many votes as you can. Republicans in the past, we had an advantage because we would vote early. We would vote by mail, and we'd put that away.
I wonder where did this whole suspicion about voting by mail come from?
This is the I think you should leave hot dog suit guy. We're all trying to figure out who did this.
Yeah, right.
Why do no Republican voters trust mail-in voting or early voting?
I would be surprised if we don't have tape of both these idiots saying exactly like we can't trust the vote by mail. Can't trust the voting early.
Going to be tough to put that toothpaste back in the tube when you've sowed election denialism for your own benefit for now years at this point. How do you restore faith in a certain portion of the population that these things even matter?
The fascinating thing too is like, if they're coming around and Sean Hannity is a good barometer as to like what not the barometer. He is the Trump brain trust in many respects. God help everybody. But if Hannity is trying to convince Trump, don't malign early voting and vote by mail, then Trump loses a sort of like an argument rubric of the election was stolen from me. And if he doesn't have the 2020 election was stolen from me, like what does this guy run on?
I know. And,
it's probably going to be immigrants and black people, but
it's a good point. Like we'll see how he fares in the primary, Trump. I still think he'll do very well, if not win it. But the whole, I'm personally aggrieved because I deserve this and this was taken from me, especially when there's no truth behind it. It's all just lies. Doesn't go over well with people.
And there's no novelty also. I think that's that, and there's no novelty. He's done it already.
He's been doing it for years. And Hillary Clinton was saying essentially it's my time. And that's a very small fraction of the aggrievement that Trump has been expressing. People are turned off to that generally, not Republican primary voters. They love him. It's a death cult. I get it. But of all the Republicans, who might be running, I feel like he's the one who's most repellent to a general election.